Welcome to a new video, and today we're at Arkartz to try out their brand new circuit that opened only a few weeks ago actually. So me and my little brother decided to take a look at this track, see what it has to offer, and yeah, just give a nice review about it and just see what it has to offer. So heading into the pit lane and jumping into a kart. These are Biz EcoVolts Gen 2, so the latest generation of these electric go-karts. They've actually been fine-tuned for this track. I was talking to the owner of this track, and he was saying that they actually changed the torque curves of these karts, so it's a lot less snappy compared to a teamsport kart, and that you're actually able to double pedal slightly, so it doesn't cut off like quite as quickly as a teamsport kart would. So you're able to sort of feather the brake and the throttle a bit more, and the throttle would not, like the power wouldn't straight away cut out. So we're actually going to head out onto our first flying lap of this track, already on mode 4, which is quite nice. Heading into turn 2 after a quick turn 1 into the tunnel section. It is quite a short lap here, only about 25 seconds long when it's fully gripped up. Into turn 3, and which quickly skips to turn 4, turn 5, going down the hill towards the never-ending turn 6. Just seems to go on and on and on. Flick it left or right, to turn 8, and then straight away into turn 9, and then finally around the final corner, turn 10. Just really trying to get on the gas as quickly as you can. And that's a lap of Arkartz. So after that yellow flag, quite a short track if I'm honest, but I really like the flow of it. Considering it is quite short, as you see, you get absolutely shafted from behind by the marshals. Yeah, the track just has a really nice flow to it, because it's quite slidey, as you can see. You're able to just slide the car around quite well, as you saw there. I almost overcooked it completely. Full lock sideways pretty much, but that's what makes it fun, because it's quite slippy at the moment anyway. It's very fun to sort of try and keep the car sideways, because that is the quickest way around this track. A lot of the time you hear in karting, you've got to try and not drift because it slows you down. But in this case, because there's so little grip, that is the quickest way around the track. As you see, also it helps get some tyre temperature as well, because of how cold the tyres are when you first go out. That's what I've also noticed something about this track as well. You really need to think about tyre temperature, because the difference between the start of the session and the end of the session with the tyres is quite significant. So I think the day that we were here, we were going from 30 seconds to mid 25s. So huge improvement in lap time. That's just all to do with the tyres just really bedding in and getting up to temp. Plus the track will also get a bit hotter over time. But as you can see here, running up the ramp into the right, into another right, into the left. It's really hard not to hit the barrier on the exit, because it's quite a tight exit. So you really have to drag the car over to the left on that exit. Through here, swinging it left and then right. Really trying to open up that corner, because this exit is quite important. Even though I'm sideways the entire time, it still matters how good your exit is. And into the first corner, just trying not to lose too much momentum. As soon as you hit the wood, you just gain a lot of grip. Obviously wood is grippier than concrete. So, see, head back down the ramp. You sort of want to brake. Well, it really depends on the track temps, but at the start, I was sort of turning in at the wood when the wood turns to concrete, because then you sort of have enough grip to flick the karts to the left and then just carry that slide all the way around. But yeah, really enjoying the track so far, considering this is my first time ever driving around. I think I'm doing okay. Obviously the lines are a bit shoddy at the moment, me just flicking the wheel quite a lot, but that's just me trying to test how much grip there is on the track and just trying to find the quickest way around the track. But I feel like when the track is more slippy like this, you can be more aggressive with the steering and then not lose any time. It's quite nice to drive, because you're able to try new things while it's sideways like that. And yeah, coming around the final corner once again, just going to put our hands up there like that and really trying to just flick it into that first corner. That actually seemed to work quite nicely actually. I found that moving your body weight really seems to help here, because obviously there's such little grip sometimes, so leaning out sometimes definitely improves the grip levels, especially when you're sideways. Just leaning your body to the inside of the outside just helps the kart rotate so much. Because they are quite heavy, these biz karts, because they're electric. So the big batteries on either side. So trying to, like, they sort of act like a pendulum. So once you're sort of sliding, it's quite easy to like keep sliding and then flick it in another direction. Which you have to do through there, and actually we managed to overtake the marshal there. So managed to get past him there. And going into first corner, really flicking it. Seems to be the fastest way round at this moment in time anyway, with these sort of grip levels. So go through here, going down the road once again. I found sort of staying in the middle of the track is probably the best way to drive it, and flicking it into this corner. And that is actually the end of our session. So ended pretty quickly, and we're gonna go straight into our second session on track. It was actually only me on track in these first two sessions that I did.
We're going 3 or 4.
So, and we're actually on mode 4, the quickest setting. So mode 3 will be like public sessions, and mode 4 will be for the members events, which will come shortly. They're planning a lot of things here, which is quite nice to see. So planning on memberships, race events, yeah, there's a lot to come from this place, and I'm really excited to see how it goes in the near future. And you see here, immediately spin like an absolute idiot that I am. That's something else I found, because they're sort of testing still with this track. They've got different tyre compounds on the karts. So some have Duros, which I think this kart has. You can sort of tell the difference by sort of looking at the sidewall, as this kart didn't have that green band, the other kart did. And yeah, this kart just didn't seem to have much grip at all compared to the last one, because I was driving it the same way as I was the last one, but just no grip compared to the first one. As you see here, I've been it again like an absolute plonker. See that, I'm not happy with myself. So yeah, as time goes on, they'll sort of, I think they're going to move to the My Test tyre, from what I've heard anyway. So the Duros are definitely a more slidey compound, and are definitely more tricky to drive, as I've sort of found out there, because they're sort of a lot more slidey. And you can sort of tell by how shiny the tyre is. If you look at the tyre now, it's very shiny. And when the tyre's sort of less shiny and sort of more like, well, less shiny, that's when you know you have a bit more grip. Same with the surface of the track. Very slick at the moment because, as you can tell, very shiny, very new. This track's only 2 weeks old at the time of making this. So, yeah. A lot of rubber still to be bedded in. But around the wood section, actually, there's quite a lot of rubber. And, yeah. If you go off a line, there really is bedding grip. I almost binned it there once again. But it's very fun to drive this track. Just even when you have quite a slidey car like this, just able to sort of slide it around in the track. It almost feels like wet driving, but obviously in the dry. As I've again been it again, just flicking in the same sort of amount I was in the previous car, but just not able to make it stick. So not the best there, not the best driving from me. I'll admit that. Just wasn't adapting this tyre very well on this car. And really getting it sideways here, so I'm right behind one of the marshals. We actually almost pull alongside him on the exit of that corner, but he just completely drops us on the exit. I think his car might have a little bit more grip than we do. So we're going to try and follow him along, going up the ramp, hit the boost button, definitely the best place to push it this lap. As there's really no other straight you can really press it on. The only other place I tried it was coming out the final corner, and it seemed to work pretty well, but then when the boost cuts off, you sort of lose quite a lot of time going up the ramp. See here, we're going to set up a lovely switch back on the Marshall, and we get the move done. And we're going to check over our shoulder to see we've got the move done, and we do. And then I bin it again. Absolute idiot. Just laughing at this footage, it's just awful. Anyway, the Marshall actually tells us to move the seat forwards, so because supposedly it might give us a bit more grip. So that might be a bit useful. So you see there, my legs are quite a lot more bent when they were before. So already you're kind of seeing there is a bit more grip, I would say. A little bit less slide. Obviously, I say that while I'm sliding, but obviously just a little bit more grip. It definitely made a slight difference to how the kart handled. So maybe something to try at teamsport tracks, having the seat further forwards in the slippy competitions to see if it actually helps the grip levels. It did in this kart around this track. As you can sort of see, I have a bit more turning as I'm sat a bit further forwards. So it doesn't really make a difference where you're sat in the kart. So yeah, see here, we actually look over the shoulder. The marshal's going to go upper inside here. We're going to leave him the space because it is quite a tight section, so we really have to give in for that move. I'm going to follow him down here, and I just completely overcook it and then smack into the barrier like an idiot once again. Luckily, these karts have a boost button on the steering wheel, unlike teamsport karts, which is quite a useful feature. And I just apologise for the marshal for being an absolute plonker. I think I've binned it about 5 times this second session. Considering the first session, I only binned it. Did I even bin it at all? Not even sure. And just like that, second session was over and done with. And we're going to jump straight into our third session. So heading out on track for our third and final session of the day. Done quite a lot of driving actually, because they had an offer on where if you would get a second session it would be half price. So definitely worth doing. So you actually saw there the track owner was on the track, I think just adjusting the barriers. Because they're quite easy to whack into on that corner because it didn't have a lot of grip on that turn 2. So quite difficult not to ram into that barrier. You see, we're actually on the same session as Rory Hamilton here, my little brother. And we're on mode 3 this time instead of mode 4. So we're going to see how much of a difference that makes. Still feels pretty fast, I'll be honest. Obviously not the same sort of top end speed. The boost seemed quite a lot powerful, as I sort of figured out there when I pressed it. Really helps aid acceleration and top speed up that ramp. Going into this long turn 6. See there, Rory behind. And a marshal running across track, I think he's getting to the marshal post. And Rory actually spins around there, so maybe he has quite a slippy kart. Maybe his tyre pressures are a bit too high, because they are testing around with tyre pressures to try and figure out the right sort of grip level and tyre pressures needed for this track. As obviously it is a new track, only opened 2 weeks ago, so they're still testing quite a lot of things. You see here, we're just able to get so much time through that long left, and we're right on Rory's bumper, and he actually lets us pass there, so thank you, Rory. Give him a little wave of thanks there. Skipping forward a lap also, we're going to go around these corners, and then we see actually the track owner on the side. He was actually putting some formula on the track that basically it activates the tyres, so means there's a lot more grip available, and you can already see literally a lap or 2 later, just look at the grip level. I'm able to actually use the boost going around the back corner and not slide out. Still mode 3 of course, but the difference in grip from lap before and lap now is immense, as you're able to see. But my kart seemed to sort of, tyres seem to activate quite a lot more than Rory's as he lets us pass there once again. But you can see on the tyre actually just how much more, well, less shiny they are, and you're just able to see like barely any movement in the steering now, and I'm sort of shocked myself with how much grip there is now. So I'm going to take another look at that. Just see like barely any steering movement needed now to get around that first corner, which is actually really surprising, and it really changes the dynamic of the track. So the lap times improved massively. I think in this session I actually hit the 25. So you see that I looked down just for a second, and now we're on mode 4, so the fastest speed setting available here at this track. You can see already the speed difference is huge, and we're going to fly around these first few top corners, and yeah, really speedy now considering the tyres have activated as well. So I'm going to go on for my fastest lap, well, my PB lap around here, just trying to smooth out the first 2 corners, hitting the boost button, going up the ramp as fast as we can, flicking it in, not really any braking needed. And then into the left, down the ramp, into the long left of turn 6, really just sliding the kart there, trying to neutral steer it. Quick tap of the brake to get the rotation, and then flick it right once again for the final corner. Trying to smooth it as much as possible, and that is a lap around Arkartz. So we come to the end of the video, and my honest opinion of this track, considering it is quite a small building, they've managed to fit a really lovely looking track and really nice to drive track with some really good karts, considering they've been fine-tuned for the track. Obviously over time they're just going to improve it as time goes on, with the new tyres and the new tyre types. But yeah, Really enjoyed it. Definitely recommend anyone having a look at this track. The staff are top notch. Thank you for taking these amazing external shots actually from on the track itself. So probably quite a few edits of these sort of videos coming soon. Yeah, really enjoy the track. Definitely have a look at it if you're in the area, and yeah, really top notch. Really recommend it. Anyway, that's the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.